What's up, you guys? My name is Matt. Let's talk movies. The troubles of the Natalie Portman-produced indie western Jane Got a Gun continues to cripple its production as it lost another key role player. Long story short, Michael Fassbender was slated to play the hero of this movie, but has since dropped out of his role as it conflicted with his scheduling for X-Men Days of Future Past, and in his place, Joel Edgerton, who already had another part to play in the film, took over Fassbender's role as the hero. Soon after, Lynn Ramsey, the original director of the film, is nowhere to be found on the first day of shooting, then gets replaced by Warrior director Gavin O'Connor, and out goes Jude Law because he could no longer work with Ramsey. You catch my drift? Say what? Whatever the case, I feel really bad for Natalie Portman because not only is she producing the picture, but she's also starring as the titular character Jane, who sets out to defend her husband by any means necessary. So I can only imagine just how overwhelming this whole experience could be for her. And anyone familiar with the old Hollywood folklore will remember the production woes of 1942's Casablanca, where that movie suffered numerous setbacks, including conflicting schedules with the actors and also an unfinished script. So if there's any lesson to be learned from that mess of a production, it's that Oscar quality movies can still be made from nothing. So hang in there, Natalie Portman. Saddle up that horse, ride into the sunset in a scene that is deservedly yours, because your true hero is standing there at the end of your ride, which coincidentally is right where I'm standing. Speaking of riding into the sunset, Robert Redford, Mr. Butch Cassidy himself, or was he the Sundance Kid? Thank God for IMDb. That's right, the Sundance Kid himself, Robert Redford, is in negotiations with Marvel Studios to appear in next year's Captain America: The Winter Soldier. In recent years, Redford has mostly stayed behind the camera and acting in movies that he's directing. So landing him in the comic book movie sequel would be a surprising win for Marvel. While I've grown accustomed to his new life as a seasoned filmmaker, I will admit that having someone as legendary as Robert Redford would add a certain amount of coolness to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, if it hasn't already. The movie blog /film recently published a post detailing how Marvel Studios conducts his casting process, which may shed some light on how Robert Redford may have been hired. If you're interested in learning more about this, you can click the link to the /film article that I will leave down below in the description. The next entry into the James Bond series will most certainly miss its 2014 release date. Coming off the success of Skyfall, Sam Mendes has declined to return for the 24th Bond movie, delaying any hopes for a release next year. This is probably a good move on the producer's part because a rushed production is never a really good indicator of a finely crafted movie. Take for instance Casino Royale and Skyfall, both took about 4 years to make, whereas the lackluster Quantum of Solace took about 2 years to make. Proving in this case that time is 007's greatest ally. Bang bang! Of course, the longer we wait, the closer we get to an older James Bond. And I like Daniel Craig. I wouldn't want him to go out the way Roger Moore did in A View to Kill, because in that movie, Roger Moore was 58 years old and acted alongside women who could look like his daughters. Can someone say creeper status? Creeper status. Yeah, that movie should have been called On Her Majesty's Creeper Service. And finally, Rob Letterman, the director of Monsters vs. Aliens, is in talks to direct the big screen adaptation of the popular 90s children's horror novel series Goosebumps. Sony Pictures has owned the rights to R.L. Stine's book series since 2008. And now that they are close to landing a director means that this project will soon see some life. Whether or not this movie will be animated or live action remains to be seen. Now, I remember reading and collecting these books as a kid. What I liked about them was that they were more like adventures than horror stories. My favorite being The Curse of the Mummy's Tomb. So you can imagine that's more Indiana Jones-like, which falls more into my tastes. So if you grew up in the 90s, let me know in the comments what your favorite Goosebumps book was as a kid. Alright, that does it for this week's movie news. Don't forget to leave a positive or negative response in the comment section down below, and be sure to stay tuned for more movie news and reviews. I know I said I'd bring out movie reviews, but I haven't figured out how I wanted to do that yet, so stick around, I promise, they will come. Also, if you wanted to keep up with me on Twitter, I have a Twitter. It's twitter.com/ubiquitousfool. I will leave a link to that in the description and possibly an annotation right here. Otherwise, thank you for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you guys later. The movie blog /film recently posted a blog post